Hi, I'm Wanda with Jimmy Branch Homestead, and today I am going to make a quick and easy homemade clam chowder. So very excited to do this. I haven't made it in quite a while, and I really don't know why. So I'm going to start off with 4 medium potatoes. So I'm just going to peel them and dice them, and then I'll be right back with you. So I have my wonderful chopper here. It comes with different blades. I'm using about a 1/2 inch cut blade. Might be a little less. But it makes good sized little chunks of potatoes. And I just slice my potatoes into thick slices. And it really makes quick work of the job. Okay. And there are my chunks of potatoes. I'm going to go ahead and dump them in the pot. I'm not going to turn it on yet. I am going to cover these with water. Let's see. So I need to go ahead and chop 1 cup of celery. And I'm going to use 1/2 cup of onion. I know people that like a lot more onion often put up to 1 cup of onion in the soup. I just want a little bit for flavor. I don't want it to be powerful. And then I'm going to also chop up some fresh chives that I happen to have on hand. They will give the soup both color and flavor. Oops, lost my knife. Got a couple of bad spots off the ends. Okay. And I'm just cutting them in, maybe 1/4 inch, maybe a little less, smaller, somewhere in there, pieces. It's going to just add a little bit more color and flavor to the chowder. It's really cold outside right now. It's not going to get above freezing today, so it's one of those days I have to check on the chickens often. Right now that's the only animals we have on the farm besides our dogs, and our dogs do stay inside with us. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and chop up the onion, and I will be back momentarily. Okay, so I have my minced onion or chopped onion. Again, I'm using about 1/2 cup, but you can use more if you like. And I'm just going to add that in with the potatoes. Now remember, I haven't cooked anything yet. And 1 cup of chopped celery. Okay. I'm just going to kind of show you what that looks like now. So I have my potatoes, my onions, my celery, and some water. 2 cups of water, 3 cups of water in here. It's going to depend a little bit on how big your potatoes are. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn this on medium. Now, I want to cook these potatoes to al dente. I don't want them fully cooked because then I will be adding the clams. So we are going to use 2 cans of whole baby clams, and these are 10 ounce, and 2 cans, I've already opened them, of the chopped, not minced, but chopped clams, and these are 6.5 ounces each. So I'm going to go ahead and bring these to a simmer, and I will simmer them about 3 minutes, and then I will be back. Okay, so my potatoes, celery, and onions are simmering now. So I did set the timer for 3 minutes to make sure I don't overcook them. And in the meantime, I have taken 1 cube or 1/2 cup of butter and sliced it up in little pats, and I am going to melt this on the stove. So my timer has gone off on the potatoes and onions and celery, and my butter is melted. And so this is going to be a gluten-free recipe. I'm not going to add any flour. So for thickener, I'm going to use instant potatoes. It just gives it a little more of a potato flavor. Oops. To remove that from the heat and stir in those potatoes. Going to add just a little more. Oops. We're also going to be adding cream to this. So I've added probably 1/2 cup of instant potatoes. And the nice thing about this is if you want it thicker, once it's done, you can just add more instant potatoes. Just take into account for, you know, how much you're going to swell up. Okay, so I'm just going to add that butter mixture now. And it gives it a nice, rich flavor. You can already see in that, thicken it up some. I have my burner on low. Actually, I'm going to turn it off for a few minutes. Okay, let me see if you can see that. So it's, you know, thickened up quite a bit already. Oops. So next I'm going to go ahead and add the clams. And again, I have 2 6.5 cans of chopped clams, and I am including the juice in this for added flavor. In with the baby clams. Okay, I'm going to turn the burner back on low. And we're going to warm that up a little bit, and then we will be adding our cream. And I am using 1 pint of heavy cream. That will also thicken it up a good bit. So I'm going to let that warm up for a couple minutes, and then I'll be right back. I'm so sorry, I added the cream and forgot to bring you along. Okay. So we're going to just mix that in and bring it back to a heat. I've let it simmer for a couple minutes before I added the cream, so it would be getting pretty hot. The trick with clam chowder is you don't want to overcook the clams because it will make them rubbery and tough. So that's why we just kind of do it pretty quickly. So I'm going to bring it just to a simmer, and then I'm going to turn it off and we will serve. Now I forgot I need to add salt and pepper to taste. So I'm just going to sprinkle some on there. And we'll stir that in. Oh, I wish you guys could smell. It smells wonderful. So we're going to leave this on for just a minute or two, and that's to help the clams and the flavors meld together. Again, you don't want to cook it too long because the clams will get tough. This is one of those things, there's only 2 of us, so we can't eat a whole pot in one sitting. But honestly, it will probably be better the next time we eat it because those flavors will really have a chance to meld together. So another thing you could do is basically pre-cook the potatoes and celery like I did, let them turn cool completely. You know, even put them in the refrigerator. You could put the clams and stuff in together, and the butter melted mixture, and just keep it in the refrigerator. Let those really meld together, and then finish cooking it. But I'm hungry today, so this is going to be my lunch and dinner because I didn't get around to eating lunch yet, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So another half hour or so I have to go check eggs again and the water because it is below freezing. I have locked all my chickens into their coops just to help them stay warmer. I know they have feathers and they can stay pretty warm. I do have a small amount of heat added to the coops, and that really is to keep them from getting frostbite because it's down in the teens or lower at night. So that's the only time they get any heat. But also to help keep the eggs from freezing and their water. So I went out already and checked their water. 2 of the coops had no ice on them, so that was wonderful. And 2 of them had a thin layer of ice, so I had to get those off so it wouldn't freeze solid and the chickens wouldn't be able to drink. So they're eating more penned up and these extreme cold for our area. So I have refilled all of their feeders as well. Even though I had topped them off yesterday, they're all eating quite a bit. So that's good. It helps them to stay warm. Okay, so my soup has come back to a boil. I am going to turn it off now, and we're going to go ahead and serve this up. It is still pretty soupy. If you wanted to make it thicker, just add more of the instant potatoes. I don't like mine real thick. I like it a little thick. Smells so good in here, guys. So this is a really deep bowl just to keep me from slopping, but that's how it looks. A nice, milky, creamy clam chowder. Very creamy, very tasty. I might could add a little more salt and pepper. Maybe a little celery salt. Always add just a little at a time because you don't want to overdo. It is so creamy, and the clams are divine. As I mentioned, though, I'm going to leave this set here to cool now, and as it's sitting together, it will really merge those flavors even more. So this is a great make-ahead dish. Like I said, you could even cook the potatoes and stuff and be cold and put everything together cold. That would really meld the flavors together. And then bring it to a heat when you're ready to serve it. But this is really, really good. So I hope you try it. Okay, so I tasted the soup and ate a bowl, and it was very good, but it wasn't as chunky as I actually like my clam chowder. So I went back and peeled my other 4 potatoes, cooked them separately, diced them, cooked them, and I'm adding them to the chowder. And I also added a half a cup of celery directly to the chowder. Then I also added 1/4 cup of instant potatoes. And now it looks nice and chunky. So I will edit that into my directions in the description box. Will be the edited version. So instead of 4 potatoes, I'm using 8 potatoes. It's been a long time since I made this, so I forgot. I also added 2 6.5 ounce cans of chopped clams. I had them left, so I went ahead and threw them in. So that brought my total chopped clams to 4 6.5 ounce cans. And then I still had the 2 whole baby clams cans in here. So let me bring you in closer. It looks much thicker now. The potato ratio is much better. So I'm much happier with it now. It's been, like I said, a long time since I made it. So I just kind of had to go back and see. I also added some celery salt to give it a little bit more celery flavor. You could increase the celery. I increased it to a 1.5 cups total. 2 cups wouldn't hurt this soup. So beautiful clam chowder, and now it's going to taste better too. It's still creamy. Like I said, I thickened it up a little bit more. If you like it, the juice thicker still, you could even add more. I usually like to use russet potatoes in my clam chowder, but I didn't have any, so I used the reds. Russet potatoes just has more of a potato flavor. So again, your preference. I generally like to use the russet potatoes in my soups. So I will edit this in the description box below. So if you're enjoying this type of video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share our videos on your social media. It's the best way you can help our channel to grow. Thank you so much for watching. Jimmy Branch Homestead.